They called me foolish, reckless, whispered warnings about Drăcova woods. Cursed, they said, haunted. I laughed. Old wives' tales to scare children. I feared nothing. Tonight I would prove it. The sun dipped below the horizon as I entered the woods. Shadows stretched, twisting familiar shapes into looming threats. A chill wind rustled the leaves, whispering secrets I couldn't understand. Not yet. Deeper I walked, each step a victory over fear. The air grew heavy, thick with the smell of damp earth and something else, metallic. A low growl rumbled in the distance, sending a shiver down my spine. I pressed on. Darkness fell, swallowing the last traces of light. The trees pressed closer, their branches interlocked, forming a suffocating canopy overhead. I stumbled through the undergrowth, my bravado fading with each step. The growling grew louder, closer. Something watched me from the shadows. I could feel its eyes on my back, cold and hungry. Panic welled up inside me, a primal fear I couldn't suppress. A twig snapped underfoot. The growling became a roar. I didn't wait to see what lurked in the darkness. I ran. Branches whipped at my face, tearing at my clothes. I didn't dare slow down. The roar echoed behind me, closer now. My lungs burned, my legs screamed for respite. But I couldn't stop, not here. A clearing emerged through the trees. Moonlight spilled onto the forest floor, revealing a sight that stopped me dead in my tracks. Standing in the center of the clearing was a creature of nightmare, tall and gaunt, with eyes that burned like hot coals. Its fur was the color of midnight, its teeth bared in a silent snarl. A low growl rumbled in its chest, a sound that promised pain. This was no ordinary wolf, this was something else, something ancient and evil. Terror lent speed to my feet. I spun on my heel, desperate to escape the clearing, the creature, this nightmare, but it was too late. It lunged, a blur of teeth and claws. The beast slammed into me, knocking me to the ground. I cried out as its claws raked across my chest, tearing through flesh and muscle. The taste of blood filled my mouth, metallic and warm. Pain exploded in my head as the creature's jaws clamped down on my arm. I screamed again, a desperate primal sound. This was it. This was how I died. But death didn't come. Instead, something strange began to happen. The pain in my arm, the terror that clawed at my throat, it began to recede, replaced by something else, a cold, alien hunger. I looked down at the creature, its fangs still buried in my arm. Its eyes, once filled with animalistic rage, now held a flicker of something else. Recognition? Acceptance? My fingers twitched, the nails lengthening, thickening, sharpening into claws. The transformation had begun, and a terrifying thought bloomed in my mind. I didn't want it to stop. The creature released its grip, backing away slowly. I rose to my feet, my body buzzing with a strange new energy. My reflection stared back at me from the creature's eyes, but it was wrong, twisted, monstrous. The creature made a soft, rumbling sound in its chest. It wasn't a growl, not anymore. It sounded almost welcoming, like a kindred spirit greeting its own. I took a step toward the creature, then another. With each movement, I felt the last vestiges of my humanity slipping away, replaced by something feral, something hungry. The line between man and beast blurred. My senses sharpened. The forest, once a place of shadows and whispers, now thrummed with life. I could smell the fear on the wind, taste the blood in the air. It was intoxicating. The creature nudged my hand with its head, a gesture of acceptance. I was one of them now, a predator, a monster, and Drăcova woods, once a place of fear, now felt like home. The last traces of my former life faded into the night. There was no more fear, no more doubt, only the primal instincts of the hunt, the need to feed, to survive. I lowered my head and let out a long, drawn-out howl. a sound that echoed through the trees, a chilling anthem of my transformation. The haunting of Drăcova woods had claimed another victim. But this was no tragedy. This was rebirth. I turned and melted into the darkness, my brother at my side. We moved as one, silent and deadly. The scent of fear filled my nostrils, leading us deeper into the woods, toward civilization, toward prey. The hunt had begun, and we would not rest until Drăcova woods ran red with the blood of the unwary, the foolish, the reckless, the ones who dared to ignore the warnings. They would learn. They would all learn. Drăcova would be the last thing they ever saw.